Cornmeal porridge is a quick, easy and delicious staple in Jamaican homes, especially for breakfast. Very creamy with all those warm spices. Yes man. Hey, I'm Nick and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to get perfect cornmeal porridge every time. And a little bonus to take your porridge to the next level. Let's get right into it. In a heavy bottom pot and medium heat, I'm starting with 3 cups coconut milk. Cow's milk and other nut milks are also good. Almond milk makes a banger cornmeal porridge. A thick pot is key because cornmeal porridge burns easily. I make my own coconut milk from fresh coconut. Simply blend dried coconut with water at roughly a 3:1 ratio. 3 parts water to 1 part coconut. Fresh dried coconut has superior flavor and it's readily available for me, so I always go with that. But the canned stuff is good too. If you're using canned coconut milk, which is usually thicker and more concentrated but somehow less flavorful, you can make up the difference in liquid with water. To start spicing this up, I'm using 2 cinnamon sticks. Cinnamon powder is good too, but it darkens the color of the porridge. I need about a teaspoon of nutmeg. Freshly grated has the best flavor, so always go with that if you have the option. At this point, I'm going to reduce the heat to very low and keep it there for the rest of the cooking. For the cornmeal part of this porridge, I need a cup of fine yellow cornmeal. Other cornmeals are good too, like this is a porridge made from a whiter cornmeal. It's still very delicious, tastes exactly the same, but you don't see this and go, yeah man, that's a nice pot of cornmeal porridge. It doesn't even look like cornmeal porridge. I'm adding a cup of water to hydrate the cornmeal. This could be milk. This could probably take more liquid, but I'm going to run with this. It's easier to add water than to remove it. Although the cornmeal is hydrated, it can still come together, especially if it's thick like this, but that will only happen if you add the cornmeal to the boiling liquid or wait too long to stir it in. Or maybe you're like my brother who likes lumps in his cornmeal porridge. The liquid should be at barely a simmer. At no point you should have a rolling boil. A little more liquid would help this pour out easier still, but being conservative won't hurt. Make sure to mix that in properly. A whisk is probably the best tool for this. It will start to thicken really fast, so that's why low heat is super important. Clearly this needs more liquid, so I'm adding another cup of water. Mix until it's completely smooth. It's usually 1 cup of cornmeal to 4 total cups of liquid. That's a good guide, but not all cornmeal thicken the same, so playing it safe, especially if you've got a new batch or change cornmeal brands, is the way to go. Cornmeal takes around a good 20 minutes to cook properly, and you want to stir frequently so it doesn't burn or get lumpy. So we can cover that for now and work on probably the best condiment you're not making. I need some grated or shredded coconut for this. You can use a baking tray, but a thick cast iron pot like this works much better. Season with a bit of salt and a bit of sugar, then toss so everything can combine properly. This goes in the oven at 350 degrees. Toss in the shredded coconut every couple minutes until they are nice and toasty. You could do this on the stove top or in the microwave to get super crispy, flavorful coconut that works for almost everything from desserts to savory food, especially curry. These will add a very nice contrast and some additional coconut flavor to our cornmeal porridge. It's been a while and I think the cornmeal porridge is ready. You will notice a velvety texture change when the porridge is done. Add a little sprinkle of salt to bring all those flavors together. Without salt, your porridge will taste flat and flavorless. I'm also going to add a little bit of brown sugar to sweeten this very lightly. If you're making this for multiple people, you leave them with the option to sweeten how they want, whether with honey or with condensed milk or both. I also want a tablespoon of vanilla. Vanilla is more volatile, so I add it as close to the end as possible for the best flavor. Rosewater and almond flavorings are also very popular in Jamaican cornmeal porridge, but I find that less is more with this one, so I'm skipping them. Porridge might look cooked, but we still have to give it a taste. If this does not taste smooth and you can feel grains of cornmeal, then it needs to cook more. Evaporated milk is also an ingredient I forgot to mention. It's added as part of the total liquid. For me, it makes the porridge way too rich. I enjoy the flavorful creamy coconut milk based cornmeal porridge a lot more. This definitely needs a bit more sugar, so I'm going to sweeten this with sweetened condensed milk. This also adds a bit of richness. A little sprinkle of powdered cinnamon for some warm fresh cinnamon flavor. And finally, the toasted coconut for extra flavor and a bit of crispy texture. These are a different batch from the coconut I toasted earlier in the video. This toasted coconut I let go on for a bit longer to get it more toasty. This has the perfect amount of richness, very flavorful, despite not doing the most with spices, and also very creamy. That toasted coconut is a nice touch, but this part still managed to taste like a classic. This could also easily be idle by skipping all the dairy. A big welcome to all the new subbies to the Feed and Teach family. If you want to give some extra support, become a patron or use the links in the description to clear your Amazon cart. Watch this video here that YouTube is convinced you will love, and I will catch you in the next one.